let Coach start with a brief opening statement, and then I'll open the room for questions.
Disappointed in everything about today. We're playing a really good team that was playing for a lot, which means we needed to play with all the qualities that are required to give yourself a chance when you play an upper level team. Instead, we didn't have that fight. Really frustrating, disappointed and frustrating. Two best words I can use to describe that performance today. UMass deserves a lot better, and obviously I did a really poor job of getting our guys to answer the bell today.
Coach, in the past when you guys haven't played well, you still applauded their effort. How would you describe that effort level?
Yeah, I'd rather not answer that question because it's not fair to the players.
Coach, Daniel Hankins-Sanford came out off the bat, grabbing rebounds left and right, almost broke his career high at half, broke it early in the second half. How does that really speak to his rebounding ability to help out the team?
Yeah, I'll answer that question, couple it with your question so I don't ignore you. Like who he is every day, his spirit, his desire, his willingness to accept coaching, his unselfishness, his want to help others, the fact that he's embraced, we all run around these days and say, I love you, and then you make life easy for them. Well, you don't love them when you make life easy for them. It's Dan's accepted tough love, and Dan's embraced it, and it's the way he's been raised, and he hasn't run from it. And because of that, he's our most uplifting teammate every single day in practice. Because of that, he's taken steps forward off the court. Like, I don't like speaking about off the court stuff because that's their private life, and I don't need to be saying the good and the bad or the ugly, because I used to be that age, and if my stuff ever went public, I'd never be up here answering questions for you. So I don't speak about their private stuff a lot, but Dan's grown tremendously off the court. And he comes in here every day, and he's a uniter of people. He's a positive voice, and because of that, now he's starting to play like a good player. You always saw the flashes before. Now you're starting to see the consistency and connecting the dots, so that to now kind of answer your question at the end there, I wish some guys on our team would have that kind of desire on a daily basis.
Obviously not the result today, and Rasul had a tough day shooting, but what was it like just getting to honor him on his senior night?
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for him he didn't play well today, and then he allowed missing shots to break his spirit, and that you can't do that. But I feel bad for him because when he chose to come to school here, weren't a whole lot of people lined up to say, well, I want to play at UMass. And he did. And he did it right away, and he did it out of trust. And just like Dan, he's embraced that real love, that the real direction, like accepted people holding him accountable. And he's grown off the court as a human being, and that allowed him to grow on the court. It's funny when you do this for this long, guys that don't improve off the court rarely improve on the court. They're just talented players if they can play well. But he's embraced it, and obviously last year was a big part of us starting to resemble a good team. And this year, when we had some fight in our belly and we weren't into the nonsense and our feelings and all that stuff, he helped us turn around and become a good team there early in February. And You know, I'm disappointed for him. Rasul's a really good dude. He deserved better than how he played, and more importantly, how we played. Because what we should have done as a team is uplifted him on the night that he's playing his last home game, on a night where he couldn't carry us the way he has when we've won games. And instead, we had guys that just let him down, and that's unfortunate.
Coach, you mentioned there were a couple during a couple games way back in the non-conference. You mentioned post game how there were some issues with the team that you wanted to iron out. Are you starting to see some of those issues from early in the season come back? And if so, how do you manage that going into the season?
You be offended if I'm short with my answer? I'm asking you. You're asking me a question. You deserve for me to give you an answer.
You can answer how you want.
Am I concerned, or am I seeing the issues? So am I seeing the issues? Yes. Am I concerned? No. Why? Because you don't go backwards in life. You grow. And in the era that we're in today, those issues are just telling me maybe people are checked out and they can't wait for this to leave. Like, I talked to a coach today. His best player has already told him when the season ends, and they're winning. When the season ends, I've already made an agreement to go to this other school for this much money. So we probably got a group of guys that have already made decisions because we're close to the finish line, which is the world that we've created for young people. They don't know any better. So they've probably already made decisions as to, I'm going in the portal, I'm tired, this is hard, blah, 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 and they're out. So you fight all year to learn how to become a good team, which means all hands on deck, totally committed, regardless of good and bad. And you got guys doing that at this time of year. I don't have that answer for you if we are or we're not. I'm not concerned, but I take pride in life not being surprised. And I'd like to think that because you see some of that stuff show its head again, that's what's going on behind the scenes.
Second round.
Well, Coach, they say in my executive mistakes learning lessons. So how can you take this experience, this game, you have a tournament coming out soon, so what message can you tell your teams, how to keep going, because, tournaments plays real soon, so how do you take this loss and turn it into positive, for next week?
Yeah, I don't know, because the way we've always managed, so I'm going to use last year as an example, because all this is new. This is not like I can't reach back to when we last lost our last home game and didn't play very well against Iowa State the year we went to the Elite Eight at K-State. Okay, so our seniors didn't play well that day, and we got beat at home, a team that was top 10 in the country, and then to the last place team in the league. Okay, those guys have been with me for 3 years, and I know the underclassmen weren't going anywhere. So that's how we managed it. I know what the message is. So I'm going to use last year as an example, because a week from yesterday, I think we played Thursday. There's a day off. I don't know if we played Thursday or Friday. Last year there's a day off in the conference tournament, okay? So it's a winning team. You got guys that have had tremendous success individually and collectively. 12 hours after that game ended, I had guys texting me that they're going in the portal. 12 hours after the game ended. And then who was the last guy to go in the portal? Anyone know? He went in the last possible day. You know who's the guy that was in the locker room despondent because he was crushed because his team just lost? Matt Cross. Does that make sense? I had to tell him, you have to go in the portal, man. There's too much money out there from what I'm hearing. It would be irresponsible of me as a human being to act like loyalty is more important than changing your family's life. But so you're asking me a question, and I don't know who's in, who's out. And the way we played today, I'd venture to say I can give you 6 or 7 that I think they can't wait for this thing to end so they can put their name in the portal. That would be I didn't think that a month ago. I do think that today. you know, so I don't have that answer for you. It's, I'm trying to figure, that's why you see the Tony Bennett's and the Jay Wrights, you know, all the guys that were program builders. That's why you're seeing them make exit stage left to say, no, it's over. They're not going to be negative. Because in life, you either adapt or leave. But you can't live and be a miserable human being. And they walked away and said, I ain't doing this. And so I don't know. Ask me in a couple of weeks. Obviously, postseason's a different season than the regular season. It's two different worlds. We'll reconvene. We're off tomorrow. We'll reconvene on Monday, and by then I'll have a plan on how to attack next week. That's my job. I'm going to do my job. Obviously, this year I haven't done my job real good as I continue to try to figure it out. But I'm going to do everything in my power to get my part of it right on Monday to give this team some leadership and some direction going into the conference tournament.
Coach, Jaden and Daniel Hankins-Sanford have been with you since your second season. How much can you talk to their growth over the past 2 seasons and just their loyalty they've had towards you and the program?
Yeah, Jaden's about the things that I enjoy coaching. You know, he's about work. He's about being a good teammate. He's about competitiveness. He because our personnel's different, he needed to grow as a player this year offensively, and he kind of struggled with that. And I kind of struggled early in the year in trying to utilize him in a different way. But who he is what I'm about. So that's why, if you remember when we were in turmoil back at the end of November, I inserted him and Daniel Sanford into the lineup. There's a reason for that. And you know, and Dan's the same way. I talked about him earlier. I'm about growth. If you get into coaching and what makes you tick is winning and losing, man, it's a miserable life. It's a miserable life. When you get into coaching, it better be about uplifting the lives of people. That's what I got in. That's why I was raised in it. That's why I got into it. That's what I've always done. And sit back and watch a Rasul Diggins grow like he's a dad. His first year here, if he needed any responsibility, oh my God, forget being a father, any responsibility. Now, in about 3 months when he gets that degree and he goes on to whatever that next chapter is, he's prepared to own that most important responsibility that as men we get in life, which is being a father. And he's prepared himself to handle that, which is what it's all about. Sanford, same thing. He's starting to finally connect the dots. Dan's always had that great personality, but he knew how to navigate to avoid connecting the dots. Connecting the dots is hard, if you understand what I mean by that. And he's finally embraced being held accountable, which is the way his family raised him. That's the way his high school coach, who's one of my favorite people I met in my time in South Carolina, his high school coach in Charlotte, is a old-fashioned, old-school, no-nonsense, old brother. And he holds them accountable. And Dan never ran from that. Dan stayed there and never left. I had people telling him about going to prep schools, and he said, no, right here. And that's why I brought him up here, and there were some difficult moments last year with him now. And ask him, he'll tell you. But he didn't run. He knew he needed to grow, and he did. That's why I got into coaching. That's why I'm still in it. So hopefully we got more guys like Jaden and Dan and Rasul that embrace growth and responsibility and then go out there and try to be good teammates and compete their tails off. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.